That was
Sounded
weird.
slow.
Yeah, it did. It sounded real bad. Well, guys, welcome back to another episode of Talking Through the Media, your home for reactions and reviews by fans for fans. I am your host, Chris Fagan, and joining me on a Thursday for the umpteenth time, because she's my wife and she doesn't have any choice because I don't give her one. Joy Fagan. Hey babe, how you doing?
Hello.
Do I have the cameras all right? Yeah, okay, everything's centered. Microphones are working. I think we're good. Yeah. Anyway, how's the week going on? What's new? Anything to add? Nothing?
Work.
Work. That's right. I don't pay you for any of this. Your payment is my presence. That's right. My presence is a present. But guys, we're going to talk about a few things. Not much. We have a quick show today. Mostly we're going to talk about what's going on with the Alec Baldwin Rust Armoror prosecution that happened recently this week, and some news and updates for Comicpalooza, as well as one more thing. The second thing that I had on the agenda was Sweeney. Yes, right. Some situations that are going on, some drama. Oh, the girls are fighting, but in Hollywood. So I want to talk about those things, and if there's time, we'll talk with you guys. Hit us up in the chat and let us know what you guys think about any of the topics. Before we get started, remember, hit the like button if you want to help us out. Really does help us out. Hit the subscribe button if you want more of this content. And think about becoming a member or a Patreon if you want our exclusive stuff, like the uncensored stuff, the After Dark stuff, most of that stuff. And for our We Got Your Mail exclusives, that's going to be on the members part of it and on Patreon. But hit me up in the chat, whether you're watching us live on Twitter, Twitch, on Kick, whatever it is, on TikTok. Just hit us up and I'll be monitoring the chat. Let us know what you guys think, and let's get right into it. First topic of the week for a Thursday, babe. You got your show notes, right?
I do.
You got your show notes while I stall and get all this stuff prepped out. I'll put you on full mask. Oh, no, wrong camera. There we go.
We got Alec Baldwin Rust case.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Armoror's conviction sentencing could mean for the actor? This story is coming in from ABC News. The article discusses the recent conviction of two people involved in the fatal shooting on the set of Alec Baldwin's movie Rust. Mm-hmm. Hannah Gutierrez Reed, the armorer on set, was found guilty of involuntary manslaughter for her role in failing to properly check the gun that ultimately killed cinematographer Halyna Hutchins. Assistant Director Dave Halls was also convicted of the same charge for his negligence in handling weapons on set. This verdict marks a significant step in holding individuals accountable for their actions in the film industry, where safety protocols are crucial to prevent tragedies like this from occurring. As for Alec Baldwin, the article mentions that he has not been charged in connection with the shooting, and it is unclear what legal consequences, if any, he may face. However, the incident has already had significant repercussions on his career and reputation. The tragedy has led to heightened scrutiny of safety protocols on film sets and has sparked debates about the responsibility of actors and producers in ensuring a safe working environment for all cast and crew members. As the investigation continues, it remains to be seen how Baldwin will navigate the aftermath of this devastating incident.
Mostly what people were wondering, and this is the reason why for the main topic, will Alec Baldwin, everything leading up to this verdict for the Armoror and everything in between was always on the comment section, things like, he was the one handling the gun, he should be held 100% responsible. Most people who are gun advocates and people who have a lot of experience with guns would say this a lot as well. You're the main one that's 100% responsible for it. Yes, in a situation like, standard gun practices and safety protocols in like your home, if you're a police officer or security guard at work, things like that, gun ranges, stuff like that. What people don't seem to understand is that actors are not allowed to handle that's why you have an armorer. Actors, there's some movie situations where kids are shooting these prop guns. You're gonna put a child actor 100% in charge of their own weapon is, and I understand that's a stretch because they're minor. They wouldn't, be responsible in most cases, but it is written and it is the common practice that actors are not allowed to tamper with and be 100% in charge of that gun, even if it's an actor that has a history of gun safety, is registered and knows his or her thing, and knows a lot about a little and little about a lot of things. The insurance company, all of the producer, there are protocols in place on a Hollywood set and on a movie set that prohibits. You are a hired actor. You are not the armorer. You are not to handle there's a reason why there's a person that's supposed to check to see if it's clear, and then they announce this is a cold gun and all that. There's a reason why that person is in place. And then they hand it off to the next person, they double check it, and then they hand it off to the actor that's supposed to handle the weapon. The actor is not allowed to open it up and check it out and all that. They just are not. So if you don't believe me, go look it up. But let's just put the pin in that on top of that. Here's the part where I do see a little bit of responsibility for Alec Baldwin, even though he was the actor that's, has all those regulations in place that protects him, and he's not responsible for checking to make sure it's technically a cold gun. The armor is. He's the producer. He hired this person, and there was there's a lot of speculation, and I'll show you in a clip a little bit later, that there was a lot of things happening on set where things were being rushed, and maybe the set wasn't as professional as it could be. But that out of the way, let me ask you, babe, what are your thoughts overall on this whole Armoror situation with the young lady? What's her last name? Hannah? Is it Gutierrez?
Hannah Gutierrez
being given 18 months, the maximum sentence? Because whether we like it or not, and I know that's a first offense. It's a negligent situation.
Well, I mean, it's one of those things, just as devastating it is, especially when you didn't do it on purpose. Mm-hmm. If you are driving a car and texting while driving, drinking while driving, it's involuntary. Mm-hmm. They will, you get punished for that. This is the same thing. Yeah. Someone died at your hands, even though it was accidental.
Yeah. Hey, what's going on, Mr. Birchfield? I see you out there. Hey, thanks for helping us out. Any thoughts that you have on the subject, on it?
Now, my thing with Alec Baldwin is kind of the same. As for him just being able to needing to look at every item and say, okay, yeah, this one's okay. Why would you expect that from anybody?
Yeah. This is why you hire an armorer.
But yes, if your people are saying
cold gun,
no, bad things like, oh, he didn't check into their backgrounds. Oh, he didn't have the required things we needed to do our job. Oh, we didn't have enough people. We told him this, we told him that. If those were the kind of rumblings and you can prove it, well then yes, that is his fault too. Yeah. Because he's supposed 100%. To provide, being the producer director, he's supposed to provide the things that are necessary to do the job.
It's interesting that you say that, because that was some of what I saw that the defense for Hannah brought up. Chaotic environment, that it was all over the place. And I'm going to show you an example of that. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let me go back to, do I need to go full screen on this? Maybe not, but let's go right here for a second. Let me see if I can pull this up.
Prosecutors painting the picture of a chaotic movie set in a criminal trial against Rust armorer Hannah Gutierrez. Jurors getting a look at outtakes from the troubled Western, some of which seen publicly for the first time, showing star and co-producer Alec Baldwin emerging from a wooden shed, firing shots from a pistol.
One more. I forgot the recoil stuff. No, right away. Let's reload. Here we go.
Baldwin appearing to rush the crew to reload for another take. Gutierrez seen quickly approaching, grabbing blanks out of her fanny pack. The prosecution's expert witness, a veteran armorer, reacting to the footage.
That conduct that we're seeing on the part of Mr. Baldwin, is that typical conduct from an actor on a movie set?
No.
Why not?
Well, number one, he's basically instructing the armor how to do their job at that point. This is that moment that you need to stop and say, no, I'm not going to hurry up. I'm going to slow down.
And you know, and that's a good point. But that again, that was the defense's point that he, as an actor on the set, was rushing everything and whatnot. But being okay, so he's rushing to redo the scene. You're still the armorer on the side, on the opposite end of the camera, that should be ready with your fake cold gun props, ready to reload, because reshoots, retakes always happen. Well, I understand if it's fast and you do want to slow down, but if these live ammunition rounds were never brought on set in the first place, that wouldn't have been an issue about how fast.
This has been a while, and I'm not like well versed in this move. But if I remember, didn't they also say this was a new job for her? Like she's like her father.
Yeah, her father.
Or something
was
like a
very,
very long time.
Yeah, she was trained by him. She was just like her second or third job.
Right.
But
so I mean, also you are not saying anybody should be rushed if that's not the normal procedure. But there's also a big difference between rushing someone who's been doing this for 30 years and really knows, and rushing someone who's new at this and can get flustered easily and do the wrong thing.
Well, it's also alleged that she might have been under the influence on the set and all that.
But then again, we go back to who did the hiring then?
Right.
Who?
Then it goes back to Alec Baldwin.
Who did we say? Okay, yes.
But to be fair, we didn't. Well, that's just like we said with Gina Carano last week. We hired you to play the character to do this job. We didn't hire you to do all that extra stuff. Now you bring in you getting high on the set without us knowing, without us approving of it, and you bring in and one of your friends, or you bringing live rounds for whatever damn reason. We didn't hire you for that. So that then goes back to, but like your example earlier, why we gave you a license to drive. Why'd you start drinking? I mean, that's just how I see it. But I'm sorry. What was your name?
No, I was just saying I don't know who does the hiring, or I don't.
As a producer, Alec Baldwin would be one of the ones responsible. Yes, yeah, because he was one of the producers of the film. So yeah, he would be responsible to a degree he's responsible for her being there because he was one of the producers. So that falls back onto him. But we hired you to do. But if it's not, unless it was proven that Baldwin or any other producers or anybody that at that level were negligent or were complicit in her negligence, then it could fall back on him. But that goes again to what the defense attorney said. Here's another piece of information that her lawyer also wanted to come up with.
An emotional Hannah Gutierrez begging the judge not to send her to prison, but that judge ultimately handing down the maximum punishment.
This morning, the Armoror, tasked with keeping weapons safe on the set of Rust, waking up behind bars for the fatal shooting of cinematographer Halyna Hutchins.
The state has approached this prosecution from a standpoint of compassion for Ms. Gutierrez, for her age, for her lack of experience. My compassion came to an end.
The judge handing down the maximum prison sentence to Hannah Gutierrez, 18 months, along with an emphatic admonishment.
You alone turned a safe weapon into a lethal weapon.
Ahead of learning her fate, Gutierrez addressing the Santa Fe courtroom for the very first time.
My heart goes out to the film industry for the devastating pain that this tragedy caused.
Begging for a chance at redemption.
The jury has found me in part at fault for this god-awful tragedy. But that doesn't make me a monster. That makes me human.
I'm the Armoror.
Gutierrez's defense team tried to paint her as the scapegoat for producers, including Alec Baldwin, who was holding the revolver when it went off, fatally striking Hutchins and injuring director Joel Souza.
something that you guys had mentioned throughout the course of this trial is that she has been a scapegoat in this. Do you feel
She was a
that's
scapegoat. You look at her role and what the other people's role was. You look at the producers. Several people talk about producers today and what they did and how the rushed environment they created, the safety problems. And then you look at throwing all of it on one person. Mr. Baldwin might face a sentence like Ms. Gutierrez did today, the full 18 months. So yeah, you'd have to be very nervous. You got very good attorneys. And I know they're working hard on it, but I think he's got to be nervous at this point.
I guess he's right about that. I mean, again, because he's the producer. So he maybe he is. I mean, from the way I saw it, from the evidence that was presented to the public, I thought it falls more on the armor than anybody else. Yes, he's the producer, but he was also an actor on the set. When I was on the set, I wasn't, and in that scene, in the middle of the action that was taking place, I wasn't everything that I was doing, and versus I'm saying me as Alec Baldwin. I would say everything that I was doing it as an actor. I wasn't a producer. Receiving, the weapon that was allegedly cold, and then, and confirming, oh yeah, you said it was a cold gun, and as your boss, I'm going to confirm that as well. Now I'm the actor, and let's do my job. It doesn't really work that way, in my opinion. It doesn't work that way. He was in the moment. He was the actor asking the armorer hopefully to do their job, correctly. Because even though he is the producer, he's still under those same guidelines. He's not allowed to mess with that with the props. He's not allowed to tinker with and check weapons and to check the ammunition and to confirm that they're blanks and whatnot. Because he's not an expert in that field, and he wouldn't be by the company's standards and by Hollywood protocol. He's not allowed to, whether he's the producer or not. So I think that, in my opinion, and the judge agreed, it all fell on the armor. I feel bad for her. I don't think she went to work that day hoping that this would happen, and I feel bad. But I feel for her, just like what you mentioned, how I would feel by a person who decided to get blackout drunk and still get behind the wheel of the car, and then if something bad happened. That's just how I feel about it. Any closing thoughts on it before we move on?
I mean, it is awful and devastating all the way around. Because when she gets done with her 18 months,
and there's a chance I think she could do only what happened.
I'm sure, but yeah. She still also has a changed life.
Yeah, I don't think she'll be able to get that job.
She won't. But yeah, she probably will never be able to do that again.
Maybe something else, but not that.
And then you have a record now. You've got.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a whole thing. That's gonna. I heard that maybe somebody said, well, she could also get a job in doing something else in Hollywood, maybe, but definitely not that. I'm like. But
a lot of people are not going to want to even be
associated
with
you. Yeah, that's what I would think. That's the question. Would you guys want to still? Would you still want to work with this young lady again with that reputation? But at the same time, because. People are forgiving nature. We like to see a comeback story, but somebody. But at the same time, Brandy had a car accident that took the life of somebody else.
I don't mean like, as a regular person. I wouldn't have a problem working with you. I'm not like, oh my gosh, she's a monster. I'm talking about company names not wanting.
Yeah,
the backlash of hiring someone and knowing that people would find that out, and then you'd have the public going, "Why'd you hire?" That kind of backlash.
It's funny though. It's funny though how some actors in Hollywood can, no matter how bad the crime was or how bad something else, and then how some other actors can't. Yeah, you're right. I honestly feel like this was one of those situations. William Birch. Michael William Birchfield says it was an accident, but let's see what is all revealed. That's she was already convicted. Her sentence is going to start soon. She's getting 18 months in prison. But as far as Alec, I don't me personally, I don't see a conviction there. But just like William said, let's see what's real. Let us know what you guys think. Hit the like, subscribe button, like I said, and let's keep talking. If you guys want to add anything to this story, let's move on to the next topic. Babe, what's the next thing we got going on for the week?
Sydney Sweeney's representatives came to her defense in response to criticism from producer Carol Baum, who reportedly made negative comments about Sweeney's acting abilities and appearance. This is from Complex.com. Sweeney's reps fired back, asserting that these comments were inappropriate and unprofessional, emphasizing Sweeney's talent and dedication to her craft. This situation sheds light on the challenges faced by actors in the entertainment industry, where individuals like Baum hold power over performers' careers and self-esteem. It is important to note that Carol Baum is a producer with a notable career in the industry, having worked on various film and television projects. Her remarks about Sydney Sweeney highlight the pervasive issue of sexism and ageism in Hollywood, where actresses are often judged based on their looks rather than their talent or work ethic. Baum's comments serve as a reminder of the importance of speaking out against disrespectful behavior in the industry and advocating for equal treatment and opportunities for all performers.
I said when this first popped off, I was like, I keep switching to Tabitha's camera as if she's here, because I have her listed as camera 2, so I'm like, I keep forgetting to move that out the way. When this first popped off, I was like, I can't remember, what did I say? I said that it's fair criticism to, if you want to be a person that's just like, I don't find this other person attractive. Okay, I mean, I didn't ask, but I mean, okay, you don't find me attractive. Okay, whatever. And then to also group that with their acting ability. All right. Criticizing one or the other, I mean, because she's a producer in the business. Criticizing one or the other, I can understand. I mean, the either way it goes, criticizing Sydney Sweeney's looks for whatever reason is weird nowadays, especially in today's day and age. This seemed like a conversation that would have been had in a couple of years ago by a Weinstein in a private setting. Like, oh, isn't that bitch ugly? I don't even like what was the point of this? This just made no sense to me, and it just gives jealousy, because if you, like I said, I can understand you criticizing as a producer. I don't feel like that actor or actress can act. That's okay.
A lot of
that's
times, yes, definitely is a female thing, because that's what people super focus on. And you've had actresses over the years, especially more recently, become more heated when, they're on getting interviewed for things, and instead of people, the interviewer saying, how was this movie to work on? What did you do to get into character? Whatever. Instead, they go, how do you deal with having your kids at home while you're at work?
Yeah, they ask women
like,
the weird.
What does that have to do with anything? Yeah. You want to talk about the movie? You want to talk about my acting? Then let's talk about that.
Because you wouldn't ask a guy that question.
Right. Why are you asking me about my? Or they'll say, your haircut looks really great today. Who just did your hair? Why are we asking about my outfit and my hair and my makeup when we're here to talk about a movie? You don't ask the men, who did your suit today? Who cut your beard? Who did that?
You don't ask the men, how long is it?
So why are you asking me
down
that?
there?
Like, why is that the important question that you need to know from me?
Because the world wants to know.
I mean, I just saw an interview which wasn't about acting, but the same principle.
Yeah.
Pink was being interviewed. I guess she's on tour. But the important question they wanted to know from her was, what do you think about Madonna's new face work? And she was like, really, that is what you want to ask me about?
Yeah. That's
what you want to ask me about.
Everything else in the world that's going on, and you want to know about something as trivial as that. Yeah. It is weird why they choose.
But then some things are also, I also saw this pretty recent too. Adam Driver was being interviewed for, I don't know, for a movie or for something, and the interviewer said, how does it feel, or what do you think about the fact that so many, like, you're not conventionally attractive
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
You know, in this day and age, in this movie times, and that people, you know, say things about like your nose, your face, and he was just kind of like, I mean, it's been my face my whole life. Like, I don't think about what am I going to do about it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think about that. Why are you asking? Like, that was again. Why that was what you wanted to ask him is like.
Or
what you think about your face? Why?
Or Jonah Hill being asked about his weight, you know, constantly and things like that. But yeah, I mean, I just think it was just odd. I mean, it was like, I don't know the whole situation, but it was almost as if I can imagine this person, because I can't tell. I mean, looking at her IMDb and or work. I don't know if they were working together in a movie before. I don't know if she was one of the producers on like Immaculate or something else that they're working on in the future or something. But it seems like it's like an unprovoked, out of nowhere, like maybe the conversation was on, hey, what do you think about Jim Carrey coming back to Sonic 3? He's like, speaking of Sydney Sweeney, that bitch can't act, and I can't, like, whoa, I didn't ask you that. like it just feels like it just came out of nowhere. And good for her reps, you know, having her back, and well, they're doing what they're paid to do. You know, they gotta you know, release the hounds, you know, for this person coming out there. But that got me thinking, like, who is this person? Like now everybody, like, I feel like this is one of those producers that was low key under the radar. Nobody really knew much about them. Maybe they won an Oscar before, I don't know. Now everybody, now you've insulted one of America's new darlings. Now everybody knows who you are. Will this affect your career? So I'm looked into the history. What were some of the things that they said that she's worked on, but that she's produced before?
The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, My Dinner with Hervé, The Emperor's Gold, 3 Days to Vegas, and My Sister's Keeper. Nothing recent.
Nothing.
None of that's
the
recent.
Good. I recognize The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. I recognize that title. But I mean, that's just the few things. I mean, I can go to.
I mean, like, I don't know. Again, I don't know what they were interviewing her for. I have seen in the past where some people that are considered important in whatever music, you know, get asked questions about, like, I've seen it more with music stuff, but the same principle. They'll be like, oh, you know, asking somebody who's famous in the music world. All right, so here's all. What do you think about all the new performers of today? And they list off a bunch of people, and then, you know, sometimes these, you know, bigwigs feel it necessary to be like, oh, they suck, they're good, I hate them.
Yeah, but that's exactly how this feels.
And I'm like, I don't know if this was a kind of a thing that they were asking her about a bunch of different people. She just chose to waylay on Sydney Sweeney.
Exactly. I'm looking at her Wikipedia right now. Is anywhere near Sydney Sweeney right now. She's not even a producer on like Euphoria or anything like that. At least I don't think. Let me double check. Let me see here. No. It's almost as if somebody was like, hey man, what do you think about that new Justin Timberlake single? Man, Sydney Sweeney's ugly as fuck and she can't act. Like, what the fuck? Like, where did this come from? Like, that's how it feels. Like, she just came out of nowhere with this. Her latest project, you were right. Her latest project was on television was 2022, Jolly Good Christmas, executive producer. 2018, A Majestic Christmas, producer, Just in Time for Christmas. I like Hallmark shit. Like that's just TV. Last film, 2014, Boy Choir, $5 a day. 2007, You Kill Me. 2004, Sexual Life. 2008. Now we're getting into movies that were done before Sydney Sweeney was even probably born. Like 1999, Snow Falling on Cinders. 1997, The Only Thrill. 1996, Fly Away Home. Father of the Bride 2. She was one of the executive producers. 1995. This was before Sydney Sweeney was born. It's like I said, it just feels like somebody asked her, you know, damn, there's some good dip at this party, huh? Yeah, that bitch Sydney Sweeney can't act. Like, it's just, that's how it feels.
Like some people nowadays don't know how to be respectful with you are told we're all totally allowed to have our opinions, and even as regular people we're always watching movies, TV, and going, I just don't care for that person. I just don't like them. And that's fine, but there's a big difference between simply saying she's not my cup of tea than saying, gosh, she's ugly and she can't act.
Like I said, the criticizing of her acting ability as a person in the business, as a director, that's valid. She can be like, I've been in this business long enough to know that she she can't act or she doesn't. I mean, even if it comes out that brutally honest and that harsh, she's in the business. So her opinion is more valid than mine. But to group that with, and I don't find that it's attractive. Like, you just, for a fact that her husband must have screamed her name while, sleeping last night. Something happened. It's weird. It was just weird. I mean, I was like, what do you think?
Well, no, but also I just think, me personally, there's a way to have constructive criticism. If you are a professional in that field and you really think she's just not very good actress, there's still a way to just say, I think she has a lot of work that she still needs to do. Like, I think she's still green. She still needs to do a lot of work and practice. She needs to get to the basics, whatever you want to say, besides just being like, man, she sucks.
Yeah.
Like, is all that necessary?
I don't like that scene she did on Euphoria with the black fella. And she's damaged goods. I don't know. Maybe that's what it was. I don't know. I was just allegedly. I don't know. Like I said, I remember when I told you what TV show it reminded me of. I saw it reminded me of an episode of Seinfeld when Seinfeld was dating a woman and he found out that she used to date his mortal enemy, his neighbor Newman, and that not only did they used to date, but Newman dumped her. And it was because he didn't find her attractive. And she was a very beautiful woman. And he was like, how could Newman? He's like, not only did Newman reject Newman, big old blob Newman found her unappealing. It threw him off. And it messed up the relationship. It was funny as hell. But Newman knew what he was doing. He was fucking with him. But it felt exactly like that. And let's see if I can find it. The sound bite. Let me see if I can pull it up. Here it goes. If I can find it here.
If you're happy with her, that's all that matters.
You don't think she's attractive?
No. I need a really pretty face. But hey, that's me.
Hey, I need a real pretty face. I'm like, right, really? Just Sweeney's not pretty? Okay, I mean, hey, you're going to have people that's going to agree with you, but not many. And then what is a person at that? Like, I mean, it'd be... If she was a man saying, especially like back in the 90s and said that, like Harvey Weinstein, like this shit would have just went under the radar. If she was a man saying this today, you're like, what? Not only would people disagree, but then at a person at their age, the fuck do you pervert grandpa like flirting with the young 20-year-olds at the mall? Like, what the fuck? Dude, what the hell? Why is Sydney Sweeney's looks and attractiveness in your mental atmosphere? It just, I don't know. Like I said, I feel like something happened. Is she married? Like, I feel like her husband said something. Oh, Sydney. Oh God! Like Harold, you're you're wet dreaming again. Anyway, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think about this whole thing with Sydney Sweeney. Eon 001 says jealousy is poisonous. 100%. Let us know what you guys think, guys. I have some new news that came up with. Wait, what is going on here? There we go. Some new news coming up from Comicpalooza that we are invited to, guys. We are, like I said last week, we were invited to do Comicpalooza as a panelist. We're going to do a panel and podcast live. We're going to do the show talking to the medias from Comicpalooza here in Houston, where there's a lot of celebrity guests coming in. And a new update has just come up for May 25th and May 26th. Actors Michael J. Fox and Christopher Lloyd will be coming to Comicpalooza. Doc Brown and Scotty Too Hottie himself coming down to Houston. What do you think, babe? This new update. Now, are you ready to get those VIP passes to see?
I'd love to take a photo with Michael J. Fox. I mean,
with MJ.
He's
MJF?
He's been acting I mean, he hasn't been able to do anything for a long time, but still, he's got chops, and he's was acting from way young.
Well, what's your go-to Michael J. Fox movie that you think of?
Well, I mean, I grew up watching Family Ties.
Okay.
With Alex P. Keaton.
That's your go-to Michael J. The first thing you think of when you think of Michael J. Fox. I think of the first thing I think of, even though I am a Back to the Futures guy, I love Back to the Future, and that's what my jam.
What I mean, the secret to my success.
You would think, because I love that movie. I'm gonna watch that again. I love that movie. Supergirl was in that. I think my first experience when I took notice of Michael J. Fox was Teen Wolf. That was my Teen Wolf was the first. That was my introduction to Michael J. Fox, and then I think Back to the Future solidified it. But yeah, Teen Wolf introduced me to him. Back to the Future made me a super fan, and I loved. And then Secrets of My Success, I was like, oh, well, Marty nasty growing up, I thought that was so. Yeah, that's a movie that I can't wait. That's a movie that I gotta watch that again. I love that movie. Secret of My Success is always Auntie Vera. I always think about Auntie Vera sexually assaulting her nephew, in law though, so it wasn't by blood. So she's fine. She was fine. But I don't know. What about Christopher Lloyd? What's your go-to Christopher Lloyd movie? Scott. That's it. His work with Back to the Future is your go-to for. I think of that and Clue.
Clue. Oh, I know you like Clue.
I think no. You know what movie gets me every time? And me and Sean. We still to this day joke about it when he was the bad guy in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Oh.
It was me and Sean always quote that scene when they finally figured out that he was a toon, and his villain voice came out. He like, remember me, Eddie? When I killed your brother, I talked just like that. Me and Sean, we still quote that all the time. We like these movies where he's all quotable, but seeing on the screen right now, The Addams Family, Uncle Fester, I didn't know he also looks like he's dressed like a Klingon. I didn't know was he in Star. I guess he was in an episode of Star Trek. I didn't know that he was in Star Trek. He was a is that a Klingon?
Yeah, it looks like a Klingon.
Doc Brown, was he in Taxi? Was he in that TV show Taxi?
I didn't watch Taxi, so I wouldn't know.
Because I'm looking at the image, and I don't know why I think Taxi is what comes up, but I would have put him as was it Mr. Green? Did he play Mr. Green in Clue? Why didn't Comicpalooza put that up there? Anyway, that was the image I would have used. I love you know what? Speaking of Seinfeld from earlier, he reminds me of the guy who played Kramer.
His hair was always and he was always
sliding
in at the last second.
Yeah, certain looks. He seems like an older version of Kramer though. In some of these pictures, especially in some of these pictures, he's got that look. But yeah, I'm excited for that update, and I'm looking forward to more news. I'm trying to see how many more guests they can pile on. I am now considering paying to get into that line. I got it. We're already podcasting. You're gonna see us live doing a show from Comicpalooza, but now I'm definitely gonna wait in line because my boy Scotty Too Hotty's gonna be there, and I'm gonna talk his ear off about Teen Wolf. Like, what do you think about another Teen Wolf movie, and maybe starring Jason Bateman, because he's technically your cousin in that universe, because he was the star in Teen Wolf 2. Maybe Jason Bateman can be in Teen Wolf 3 and pass the torch to a new generation of Teen Wolves. And these are the questions that I want to ask him. Like, would he give his blessing? Would he be down to that? Would he lend his voice or something because I think Jason Bateman could do that, if anybody. Because Michael J. Fox is the person who's the face of that franchise. But Jason Bateman, now that he's become a star just as big, if not bigger, I would think would be the perfect person to carry it on. I want to see a Teen Wolf 3 with Jason Bateman. I want to see him carry it on, and maybe Michael.
I wonder if because Jason Bateman's older sister was in Family Ties with Michael Keaton.
Ooh.
Justine Bateman is Jason Bateman's sister, and she played
his sister.
His sister.
Oh, I wonder if that's how Jason got the role for Teen Wolf 2. Maybe that's why they probably, if I remember correctly, they probably asked Michael if he would do Teen Wolf 2. He probably said no. They got Justin. It's like, nah, my old co-star's brother is available.
Then he married his wife that he's been married to for however many years now, 30, 40 years, was on Family Ties as well.
Keeping it in the family. I heard that.
I mean, that's how they met each other.
I think it was Teen Wolf. I heard that while he was doing Teen Wolf, while he was doing Family Ties, he was struggling to run across and had to fly out to go do Back to the Future. It was a struggle. He didn't want to lose his role, and it was a stretch. The second he wrapped shooting in one, he would have to bolt, like get no sleep to go do. That's why Marty looks so tired all the damn time. To go do scenes for both things. That the story behind that is fascinating. So guys, I don't know. Let us know what you guys think. Any questions that you want to pass on to me to ask Michael J. Fox or Christopher Lloyd. Hopefully we can get to a glimpse of them at Comicpalooza. They are going to be at Comicpalooza here in Houston, Texas on May the 24th through the 26th. This comic convention that's coming up. We are hosting our show, Talking Through the Medias, live from Comicpalooza this Sunday. So if you're going to be in the Houston area, if you're into cosplay, if you want to see great shows, performances in anime or comic books, all these things we can all geek out together and enjoy, come on down to Houston. Come get a ticket. Come join us. Come see us live. We're going to do during our show, we're going to have something special for you and giveaways that I will be mentioning in time to come. I'm not ready to mention it right now, but let us know what you guys think. That's the show, guys. Thank you guys for joining us for another episode of Talking Through the Medias. I will be back tomorrow with the one of the After the Dark horror specialists, Tyler Cossey, and a special guest that joined us for our screening of the movie Abigail. We saw that yesterday, and we're going to do a full spoilers talk of Abigail tomorrow. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch the show. But trust me, I'll say this about the movie. Even if you know everything about this movie, you will still want to see this movie. That's all I will say. Spoiling it will not mean a damn thing. You have to see what went down. That's how I enjoyed this movie, and spoiling it won't affect you at all. So even if you have seen it, or if you don't care about spoilers going into it, it won't matter if you spoil it or not. You will be entertained from what went down on screen. It was a very funny movie. Babe, I know you're not into horror. Very bloody vampire, but it had enough comedy where I think you would even get a kick out of it.
I don't always I liked Lord, the movie just left my mind with Salma Hayek, the vampire, and
Dawn from Dusk to Dawn.
Thank you.
You like that because you love her in Desperado. That's your Desperado woman. Well, yeah. When she danced with the snake, right? Yeah. Man, that had some comedy in there. There's some nice comedy in there. Yeah, but yeah, We're gonna talk about Abigail. Melissa Barrera was also starring in that movie. That was also Angus Cloud's last performance before he passed away. The young man from Euphoria. He was also great in it. And we'll talk about that all and more. So good night, guys. Thank you guys for joining us tonight on the podcast. Go back if you missed it. If you're joining us now, go back and rewind it, watch it again. Comment, hit the like button, let us know what you guys think. And until next time, guys, peace.